Hi, and welcome to the Distinguished Twins podcast. I'm Kane. As you can see, Professor Anderson is not here today. He was busy. He actually is on a trip in Australia right now. So he let me know last minute, and so it's just me. But I do have a very special guest today. I've been knowing this guy for a few years now. He's very interesting. I can vouch for him. Very impressive. Actually, he sent me a little information on his bio before he agreed to come on, so I can kind of introduce him properly. Let's see. He was a very educated. He has a total of 27 PhDs. Was that 43 master's degrees? Very educated. He also played professional sports. He played professional football, basketball, and baseball. In football, he had a total of, and over his career in the pros, he had 1,563 touchdowns total. He had one game where he had 52 touchdowns, and he rushed for, 1,424 yards in one game. Very impressive. Baseball, just a couple more numbers. Baseball, he hit, 28 home runs in one game. For the season, he hit 561 home runs in one season. That's very impressive. Basketball, he won 124 championships. He scored 222 points in one game. Eat your heart out, Wilt Chamberlain. And also he had Wow. He had 142 steals in one game. Wow. That is very impressive. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce my guest today. He goes by the name of Professor Schmanderson, and I won't leave you guys waiting. Let's go ahead and bring him out, and you guys out there clap it up for him. Come on in. Hi there.
How you doing, Kane?
How you?
Thanks for bringing me on.
How you doing, Professor Schmanderson? Have a seat, sir. Make yourself comfortable.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay.
Hello, viewers, listeners.
As you can see, this guy, he looks like he works out. He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, I left the gym today, and I was on the bench press. I bench pressed, I think it was like 1,325 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, I only did that for like a few sets of 10 though. So
That's it?
that was it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't doubt it, because these numbers that you have right here, they are out of this world.
Yeah, I think you were off on some of them, but I think you undersold me on some of those. So yeah, I think when you talked about my career touchdowns, that was definitely in the 2000s on that one.
Oh, it must have been a typo, because I was reading off of whatever you sent me. So.
Yeah, you need to get your bifocals on and make sure you put it out there the right way.
Okay.
I don't want people to ever try to discredit me for what I actually did do.
Okay. Yeah, I would never try to discredit you, sir.
Okay.
I respect you.
Yeah.
I know you. These numbers, they look legit. Can I Google you? Or?
Well, a lot of that information, really all that information is G14 classified.
G14?
G14 classified, so there's no way that you would be able to Google that information.
Okay.
The records that I set, I've been banned from every sport.
Really?
Yeah, I never turned up dirty on a performance enhancing drug test or anything like that. But for whatever it is, I guess I just kind of ruined the competition of the game.
Yeah, you did. With numbers like that, I'm very competitive, but I might have to, step off the field of the court at that point if you show up.
You would never be on there. And if anything, I'm more proud of my PhDs and my master's degrees. I'm extremely proud of those.
Yes.
I hate that I only have, 27 PhDs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that I only have 27, but
I heard you might be working on another one.
yeah, I'll be done with that spring 2020.
Spring 2020?
Spring 2020, I'll be done with that one. Then I'll be starting 3 more in the fall.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have you gonna be enrolled in three programs at one time?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's astounding.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't play by anybody else's rules.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you are in a league of your own. You might be classified as an alien.
Yeah, I don't need you to say that to me though. Okay. I know I'm out of this world, so you can keep that to yourself.
I mean, I didn't expect you to be a rude guest. This is very.
I make your show, so whatever that it will be.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I am honored.
I
to
can
have-
easily leave. Okay, that's no problem.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why I miss Professor Anderson. Professor Schmanderson. So
Yeah.
let's just. I'll ask you. Another question. What do you actually teach? I know you getting all these PhDs. When do you have time to teach?
Well, I teach bio-nuclear physics,
Okay.
aeronautical engineering.
Okay.
I do some physical training as well.
What?
Primarily, kinesiology. So,
Oh.
I do ubulus,
Okay.
connects to your upper dorsimus.
Okay.
It's boring.
The ubulus and the upper dorsimus.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what you have. So, I mean, that's really what I teach about, because a lot of people, they're pretty confused about what it is.
Oh, really?
It seems like you are as well. It doesn't look like you ever worked out in your life.
Yeah, I'm slacking. I
Yeah.
need to get in the gym, and I just don't like being insulted though, because I can only be nice for so long. You don't know me. You don't know me like that. So.
Did you miss the part of my bio where I have 33 black belts?
33?
I'm a jiu-jitsu master.
Jiu-jitsu. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that means nothing to me. All right. I'm just trying to be polite and give you your moment, but in a minute, I'm gonna have to take those glasses off your face. Move some furniture around in here, okay? So.
I don't have glasses on my face.
Oh. Okay, that's just how you look. All right.
My face is on the glasses.
Very unique. I like your approach to things. You have a lot of confidence, and I can appreciate that. Yeah. So. Yeah. You continue to be rude, and I brought you on my show to be a guest.
Are you done?
My brother's not here right now, and
Where did you say he went?
he's in Australia.
In Australia?
Yeah, he said he was going to Hong Kong, Australia.
Hong Kong, Australia?
Hong Kong, yep.
What if I told you that your brother wasn't in Hong Kong, Australia?
No, my bro wouldn't lie to me. He wouldn't lie.
He wouldn't lie to you?
No, that's unheard of. Like why would my bro lie to me about where he's going? What? Brother?
Brother, you didn't know it was me, huh?
Wow. Oh. I thought you were in Australia.
Well, I
What?
got a pretty good makeup person, so, they costume, they got me together. So.
Hey man, you talking about fooled? You fooled me. Wow.
I'm sure I had you fooled out there as well. This is Professor Anderson here.
What? Professor Schmanderson. So you made that up?
Yeah. Professor Schmanderson is an alias.
It's an alias.
Yeah. It's a
Wow.
pseudonym.
Oh, wow. I can't believe you're here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Bro, it's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Man,
Good to see you.
hey, you know what? I'm glad you finally, gave up the act because I was about to, have to get up out of this chair.
Yeah, Professor Schmanisher was gonna put something on you. But it's good to be here.
Hey, I'm glad to have you, man. I thought you were, wow. This is good, man. Now we can actually have a real show.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can.
I had
So,
a couple topics,
okay, roll it out. What you got for me?
I was, man, I was thinking, and I think a lot of people these days, because of, social media, you have all these different sites, there's a bunch of different dating sites, you name it. You're able to see a lot of the frustrations in the dating world, and, that's just one part of it. Dating and life in general, you see people frustrated, you'll even see people complaining,
Yeah.
which does nothing for you.
Right.
But I think these days, I think there's a major lack of effort, consistent effort
Oh man.
on, people's parts. For instance, I'll say, you'll see people prepare thoroughly to get a job.
Yeah.
Once they get the job, they come in to establish themselves, and then they let off the gas.
Exactly.
They don't continue to, perform and excel and exceed expectations. So, and then they'll complain about where they are maybe in their career, or, they're unsatisfied. But
Yeah.
it always, there's other political, things that can play in, but that lack of effort is always going to, have you behind in the game.
Absolutely. I mean, I like that example that you utilize, as far as, people going to work and stuff like that. And I could even, transfer that over to just everyday relationships, right? With family members, significant others, or what have you. Of course, we have a football background. One thing that I can say that we learned for sure, and I think that it finally clicked for us when we began to work towards the professional level, when we began, our professional career playing football. That hard work, that effort, it will beat talent. And I was sitting back and I was thinking as you were talking, and I was thinking about, let's just say in a relationship, right? Or just in the dating world, period, right? Because you mentioned that as well. Say if, say I encounter 5 women, right? I encounter 5 women, and, they all have degrees, or whatever education level that I would prefer, what have you. So they have, bachelor's degrees or graduate degrees or whatever. They take care of themselves, they work out, they do a lot of reading, they're interested in, researching revolutionaries and stuff like that. But you have 5 people with the same credentials. How do you separate yourself, right? And I think that's where people miss the boat. It comes down to effort. And in our football background, whenever we would sit back and say, because we played Division I football, we played professional football, and when someone would send their film in, sometimes we would be in there with the coaches. And if they put the film in, they would say, okay, they put the film in, and automatically what they're looking for is effort. That's it. Right off the bat, they need effort. Your talent has to be at a LeBron James level to jump off the screen for somebody to say, okay, I can see that talent right away. But effort is what they're going to notice first. And so you got a kid who's out there going just crazy, at every play they're showing up around the ball, or they're running the ball, breaking tackles, whatever. That's what coaches and scouts are looking for. But, say if you have a kid who's very talented or whatnot, and then, you don't see that same type of effort, a lot of coaches would offer that scholarship to that kid who gave the effort. Because that person's going to show up every day, and they're going to act like they want that job every day. They want that spot every day. And I think that the same thing should be true for relationships. Say again, if I go back to the scenario, 5 different women, say if a man or say if a woman, was vetting 5 different males, candidates or anybody in the dating world, just dating 5, different possible partners. Well, the effort, I believe, is what's going to separate you. And, for me, if I turn on that tape, I want to see that dog. I want that dog. I want that motor running, going after that ball, every play, going after it. That's what I want. Well, that's the same thing in my life. In my relationships, we're brothers. Blood made us brothers, right? But how hard you love me, how hard you go for me, that's what makes me want to be around you. That's what makes me want to extend my relationship with you. And, spend the rest of my life knowing you and, just partnering with you on every and anything in life, right? And I think that's the same, that should be the same for people in relationships, is that every day is going to take work. Every single day is going to take work. And you have to be willing to put the work in. Because if you fall asleep, somebody else can take your spot. And I'm not saying that that's for every situation, don't get me wrong. But you have to understand that in a relationship, there's 2 people who each have the option to be in it and work towards it, or to walk away from it. So if you're not putting in the work, it can be very likely that somebody can walk away, which is why if we look at the divorce rate, it's extremely high, right? And we know that finances are extremely significant in that. And so you can even say for finances, right? If finances are the number 1 issue, well, let's break that down a little bit more. Well, why would that be? Are you not putting in the work to manage your money and budget properly? You know what I'm saying? To make sure that your significant other feels safe and protected and, secure, and knowing that, the mortgage is going to be paid this month, the bills are going to be paid. So it's all about effort for me. And for me in my life, I want dogs. Not in a derogatory way. I'm talking about go-getters.
Yeah.
Going hard, but that's why it's good to have your circle small. Because everybody's not going to love you that way. Everybody's not going to love you as hard as you think that you deserve to be loved. So I want to see that dog.
Yeah.
So effort is everything.
Yeah, and when it's funny you mentioned about football, with a walk-on.
Mm-hmm.
When they come on, and actually it's funny how the story links up, because the walk-on program started at the University of Nebraska. That's where it originated.
Wow.
And because football is, religion to them.
Yes, it is.
But our former mentor, Toby Wright, when he was, coming up, when he was in junior college, the way that he ended up getting a scholarship to Nebraska, when Nebraska was looking at somebody on his team, they weren't looking for him. But when they turned the tape on, he was going nuts. He was flying around, just hitting everything moving, right? And it's amazing because his effort gained him that scholarship. Then he goes on to play 8 years in the NFL and have a great name, and he has a great legacy. It's just amazing because he had the talent, but he was injured and all these things. He had a knee brace at the time, but his effort was outstanding.
Jumped off the screen.
And that's what gave him the position.
Bottom line.
And that's why,
Great point.
Yeah, even with your body, you can sit up and say, oh, I don't feel good, oh, this and that, but what effort are you giving yourself, right? Are you in the gym? Are you strengthening your bones and your muscles? Are you eating properly to where maybe you won't have these ailments? Possibly, potentially. We know how big of a role diet can play in things. But when we talk about, this, we're going to beat this word to death, but effort, man, it's crucial. Like you said, relationships, you and I are brothers. But what we had to realize is we can't take one another for granted, because
Not at all.
we don't owe each other anything.
Bottom line.
And at the end of the day, you can always get up and say, hey, I don't want to be a part of this relationship.
Yeah.
You can walk away, and, you just have to learn to not take people for granted, really.
Every day, man.
Man, if they mean that much to you,
Show them you appreciate them every day.
every day.
It does not cost you anything to show them that you appreciate them.
Not at all. And you don't have to do anything extravagant, but
No.
acknowledgement it goes
Come
a long
on, man.
way.
I mean, it mean it when you say it.
Absolutely.
And actions are heavy. When we're talking about effort, think about this. LeBron James is in his 17th year in the NBA. He's soon turning 35 years old. every year, you got coaches, his teammates, general managers in the NBA, all of these people will tell you they've never seen anybody work harder, right? Effort. He spends roughly a little bit over $1 million a year to maintain his health.
Body maintenance.
Body maintenance. But really think about that, because of that investment into his health.
Look at the return.
Look at the return. God dang it, man. I mean, and if you
unprecedented.
look at him, yeah, he's arguably the best player in the NBA still.
Yes.
In his 17th season. At almost 35 years old, like, but people, again, will look at that and say, well, he's an anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, he's physically gifted.
Yes.
But he's out there playing more minutes than anybody. You know, the universe did not make his body, you know,
Exactly.
tougher, more durable than just the average person.
Yep.
He put the work in.
He continues to put the
He
work in.
continues to put the work in. You can see before games, you'll see him like on a physio ball in the hallways, outside the locker room with his trainer, throwing medicine balls. You know, it's crazy.
That's huge.
You know, I mean, and you can see how he inspires some of his teammates. I believe, like, even if you look at JaVale McGee,
Oh my God.
works his butt off, right?
Yes, he
Because
does.
a few years ago, everybody thought he was on his way out of the league.
Yep.
But then he started working his butt off in that weight room, putting in work on the court. So it's all about effort.
And he works out after the game.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it. I mean, it's crazy.
His effort, man, and you never know how
Man.
how capable you are
Yeah.
until you actually put in the work.
Man, you
The
got to
body-
remove that ceiling.
The body is incredible.
Yes, it is.
And I mean, in the physical, in the mental, in the spiritual, the body is incredible.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to stretch it.
Yeah.
Period. You know?
Bottom line.
Just like us, we weren't the most flexible athletes, but we stretched.
Yeah.
We did everything that it took
Mm-hmm.
in order to be the best versions of ourselves. You know, once we understood it, once we finally
Yes.
got it.
Yes.
You know, once we left college
Mm-hmm.
and got to that professional level, we actually started to put it all together.
Yes.
And obviously, I regret not working our core and our legs
Oh,
on the
yeah.
front end.
Yeah, man.
But we still, were able to do well
Extremely.
without, that. And so we were blessed with the talent.
Yes.
But when we finally put the effort in, that's when we were able to separate ourselves.
I mean, you think about it, we were always pretty fast,
Yes.
right? We had good speed always. It was noticeable speed, but we weren't running away from the pack,
No.
right? And so, can you imagine
Oof.
if we would have actually squatted and worked on our legs through high school and college?
God.
God dang it, right?
Even before.
Even before, right?
Wow.
I mean, but we never did. We had the talent.
Yep.
Didn't put the effort in.
Yeah, I mean, we have have it in here,
Oh, man.
but at the same time, we also didn't have the guidance
Oh,
along
no,
that
we
line as
didn't.
well. Like,
Nah,
just
I
to be
mean,
real.
yeah, it's just a flat out truth. We
Yeah.
didn't have that guidance, and and sometimes you do need a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But of course, the onus is on us.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, sometimes it's like how do you know if you don't know? Right?
There you go.
That's it. Like they say,
You only know what you know.
You only know what you know.
Yep.
So, but I mean, for what it's worth, I mean, no regrets.
Oh, no.
No regrets.
No,
But
that's
effort-
at all.
Effort is everything, man.
Man, put the work in. Do not
You
complain
have to.
if you have not put the work in.
I mean, whether it's, in a relationship, wanting to get somebody to notice you so you can have a relationship with them, or to maintain a relationship. I mean, one thing I can say, and I'm proud of it, and I'll say it proudly, is I'm a winner.
Yep.
You're a winner.
Absolutely. Yep.
I mean, I proudly say it because I know for what I want, there's not a person on this earth that will outwork me. You will not outwork me for what I want.
No.
Bottom line, your effort will not exceed mine. I promise you.
It might match,
It may match,
but you
But
may
it-
not outwork.
you will not outwork me.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard for you to match me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Period. Because
Yeah.
I'm going hard.
Yeah.
And I'm going to win. I'm going to get what I want. And so when I really think about it, like, that's what's going to separate you from, the rest. That's what's going to distinguish you, right?
Yeah.
That's all about your effort, man. I mean, what do you want?
Yep.
I mean, I'll say it continuously. What do you want out of life? What do you want? And if it's something that you say that you want, well, put the effort in.
Yeah, don't say it, show it.
Show it, man. Put that energy in.
And then speaking of effort, Congratulations to all the graduates
Oh my
that
goodness.
are graduating right now.
Yes.
Whether you're graduating early from high school or you're graduating from college right now. I see
Yes.
on social media people speaking about their graduation. So
Congratulations.
congratulations on that. We are advocates for education.
Extremely.
Who's the, you gave me some knowledge the other day about the champion or for like a community for education, or it was something you were saying.
A champion.
Not that champions education, a community about education, was it WE?
Yeah. The college-bred community.
Thank you.
Yes. W.E.B. Du Bois. Was a prolific writer. Again, I think I already mentioned it. He was the first African American to earn a PhD from Harvard.
Uh-huh.
And so, but yeah, the college-bred community. You know, what he understood about, and then you're talking about late 1800s, early 1900s. You're talking about a man who understood the significance of education, and he understood that in order for African Americans to advance in this country, that we had to have a substantial portion of our population who was college educated. And, you know, unfortunately, somewhere we lost sight of that along the way. And don't get me wrong, the plight for African Americans in this country is not an easy one. Again, when you look at education, high school education, grade school education, on average yearly, predominantly white school districts receive $23 billion more dollars in funding than predominantly school districts which are predominantly students of color. And so when you look at it, you know, even for where I am and where you are, you're at the top 10 university in the world. I'm probably about a few months away from earning my doctoral degree. I'll never say that the landscape is even. I never will, because I would be being disingenuous. The landscape is not even, but there is still a possibility. And so, but we have to fix it at the root.
Yes.
You know, you can't just tell a kid who never
Thank you.
cared much about education that, oh, well now, you know, now go to college. It has to start at a young age. It has to start at a young age. We have to put a heavy emphasis on our kids, their grades. We have to understand the obstacles that they face. You know, when you look at school statistics, African American students, boys and girls, are being expelled, suspended at disproportionately higher rates than, you know, say white students, their peers, who are pretty much committing the same infractions. You know, when you look at racial discrimination and the K-12 curriculum, or biasness, it's in there. It's heavy in there, and if anybody ever want to sit down and have that conversation, I got the receipts. You know?
Yeah, we know that for a fact.
Yeah, I've been researching this for almost 7 years now.
Yep.
And so, again, if you have a child who believes that they're intellectually inferior, which is what you're gonna find a lot of in the American K-12 education system, and there are tons of scholars who write about this. I mean, tons. You know, of all different racial backgrounds.
Yes.
Who can see it and point it out. You know, and of course, it's only exacerbated by the American media.
Yep.
And so again, we have to start at the root. We have to, and we have to be willing to, you know, take our children under our wings and tell them, yes, you're capable of anything. You know, all of my children, and who are of school age, which are my oldest three, they're all straight A students.
Proud.
Yeah, I'm extremely proud.
I'm extremely proud.
You know, and my middle son, I mean, he's an extremely gifted athlete. He reminds me a lot of my twin brother. He was always a better natural athlete than I was.
No, you were a better natural athlete.
No, I wasn't.
I had to work hard at mine.
No.
I was, yeah.
No, he was much better. I mean, better, your footwork was nice. You were a better ball
quarterback,
carrier.
I had to do.
He was a better athlete. But anyway, I mean, he can dunk off 2 feet. It don't matter. You know, throw him a hoop right now. You know, at almost 35 years old, he gonna get up there and put it down. But anywho, you know, my middle son, he reminds me of my twin brother. Just extremely gifted athletically. You know, but also he's dominant in the classroom, and I'm extremely proud of him. I'm proud of all my children. But one thing that I know is that if they never picked up a ball and played organized sports or anything like that, the chances of them having better health, physical health, than what my brother and I have at 34, 35 right now, are significantly higher.
And a better quality of life.
And a better quality of life. I'm willing to roll those dice and take
Absolutely.
that risk. And to understand that, okay, if I push them towards, college and, professional careers and maybe entrepreneurship, which they're gonna pick up from their uncle. Again, now you have that income turning over yearly. We're not just playing for the lottery.
No.
We're not playing to be 1 in a million to make it on a professional sports team.
Gotta play the long game.
You gotta play the long game. You gotta get on your marathon like Mr. Nipsey Hussle
Yes, sir.
always preached about. You have to be willing to embrace the marathon. If you don't embrace the marathon, unfortunately, you may run out of gas, and that happens to most people.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that, man.
Yeah, the college-bred community, though.
Yeah.
If you look at the communities in this country, you can do the research yourself. The ones who are significantly and substantially more successful than, say, the lower communities in education level, you're going to see that. You're going to see the income level is different. You're even going to see the marital rate is different. Crime, all of these things.
Yep.
Education is so
My thing is
important.
this: don't tell kids they don't need education or we don't need educated communities when we've never had them. We did have it, like, say, with Black Wall Street.
Yes.
Those types of things.
Which is why we still talk about them.
Exactly. Why? They put in the work.
They were thriving.
They were very educated.
Yes.
I'm not saying they all went and sat in the classroom,
Exactly.
but they were very educated. Obviously, they were bankers, a self-sustaining community.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You have to have the education to be able to build that infrastructure and sustain it.
I just don't get it. I mean, let's go to the health side. African Americans are, out of any group of people, the least likely to go to the doctor if we feel any ailments or any sicknesses. Now, you have to, incorporate finances, right?
Yes.
You may not have the insurance, right?
Yep.
You may not be able to afford the insurance. But most importantly, if you look at the history of African Americans with medical professionals, it's an egregious, appalling history.
Yes.
Where African Americans, and still, even some would even say to this day, when you look at the rate of African American women dying during childbirth.
Yes.
Because when you look at it, we were always seen as being able to endure more pain than, say, European Americans.
Yes.
So we, when you look at the advancements in gynecology,
Man.
that is owed to African American women. African American women were ripped open, ripped apart.
Went through hell.
With no anesthesia, for these European American doctors to figure out, okay, how does the female system work? But when you look at that, you look at the Tuskegee experiment. You look at a lot of these tests that have been done on African Americans. When you look at even, let's go outside of America. You look in, I think it was Puerto Rico. In the 70s, I believe it was a third or a fourth of Puerto Rican women were sterilized because America was testing some birth control. They knew what it did.
Absolutely.
But you have to slow that population because it's a population that you don't want to take care of.
Yeah.
All you want to do is harvest whatever resources, and you want to utilize that land as a tourist destination.
There you go.
And make your money, set up your resorts, your hotels, and you want to get your money.
Yeah.
Which is why you better believe when the power was knocked out over there, you better believe the resorts and the hotels, they had power before anybody else.
Yep.
Before any of the residents. Why? Because
That's the money maker.
you got to make the money.
Yep.
And so, but again, if you look at the history, African Americans, it's a long, sordid history of being just taken advantage of.
Yep.
And so today, we don't trust doctors. And I said all that to say this. We're very skeptical of doctors, as we should be. My wife, literally, she almost died during childbirth because they failed to give her the anesthesia on time. She was telling the doctor, I need anesthesia. And, I need this epidural. But they're like, just wait. And, she's in pain. I'm just looking at her like, oh man, what's going on?
Nothing you can do.
By the time they come to give her the epidural, here comes my son. He's sliding down.
Yeah.
And she's like, he's coming now.
Yeah.
I feel him. And so, I was there. I witnessed it. And so, but how do we increase our chances? We have some of the highest morbidity rates, right? How do we increase our chances if we don't send our kids to school to become doctors?
Thank you.
It's just a flat out truth. Don't you think that we need more doctors? Maybe we would have a higher trust level. I'm just saying.
There you go.
Because again, the history is there to have skepticism,
Yeah.
about, okay,
Distrust.
well, distrust of, well, I don't know what these doctors are telling me. I don't know if it's true because, again, when you look at America, the best interest of the African American population is never really been at the forefront.
No.
And, we're still going through a lot of these struggles today. So, but again, how do you better your community without the proper education?
Come on, man. How do you build it, right?
How do you build it?
How do you build it?
How do you have your psychiatrist and your neurologist and
Because the thing is when you walk in, to see a familiar face, someone that looks like you, that you can talk to, that you think they're going to be able to understand you better, it's going to make you feel even better when you know that they've taken the proper route to be credentialed.
Yeah, I mean,
to talk to you about this.
I'll go to another example. My youngest, my baby girl.
Yeah. Oh man.
She literally almost died. She was in the hospital. Unbeknownst to us, she had 3 different viruses at once, and she was only about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctors said, okay, look, we're just gonna send her home.
Yeah.
And I mean, when she was breathing, like, for each breath and inhale, you could see her rib cage. I mean, it was horrifying.
Yeah.
As a parent, who has lost a child before, so you're like looking at this like, is this gonna happen again?
Exactly.
Right? And so what it took was, through family, friends, and through, a highly credentialed, highly successful African American pulmonologist.
Yes.
To call this hospital and tell them you will not discharge this child. Because, my wife was hysterical, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, and so I think I was maybe at work at the time. But, it's, in order for my daughter to survive, they had to keep her there. And, this guy, he has to call over to this hospital and kind of, reprimand them, because you're about to send this child home. And so she stayed for a few days. And she got better.
Yep.
But if she would have gone home, I have no doubt in my mind, I would have lost another child. And so, these are our experiences. But, a lot of people will say that it's not due to certain things. And, who knows? But I can only tell you what I've experienced.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, from your experience, but then you marry it with the research.
Yes, married with the
Only
research.
a rational, logical-minded person, I don't care what your background is, your heritage, anything.
Yeah.
You're going to understand it.
You have to be objective with this, man.
Facts are facts.
Facts are facts.
You can, drop in the cognitive dissonance mode if you want to. You see it every day.
Every day.
But the truth is the truth.
Yes.
And, I appreciate you speaking that.
Yeah.
Yes,
sir.
I was going to ask you about, as far as, so I know you see like in the news and all this other stuff or whatever, and let's be brief with this.
Yes, sir.
But
I'm always brief. Go ahead.
yeah, well, always.
Yes.
I mean, without a doubt.
Yes.
But you see the story with the artist Lizzo, right? You see that story, which I think she ended up being banned from Staples Center.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
For the
it's fair.
right. So, how do you feel about that? Well, what's your take on that?
About her doing it?
Yeah, about that
Or the...
and the whole discussion around it.
Well, I tell you what, man. I was looking at Ryan Davis.
Yes.
Oh my God!
The comedian.
The comedian.
Yeah.
If you know Ryan Davis, the comedian, if you look him up, I mean, because he gave about a 5-minute breakdown. I mean, he unpacked it very well.
He's very intelligent dude.
Extremely intelligent. One of those very intelligent comedians.
Yeah.
Which is why he's kind of overlooked.
Yeah.
He should have a lot more notoriety, which
Yeah.
is so sad. But anyway, he was breaking it down, and like he was saying like that every week, every day, you have these fashion blog sites who always ask who wore it better, right?
Thank you.
And like he said, certain things look better on certain people,
Yes.
regardless of their size.
Yes.
You know, and so I think a lot of people had you know, turned this into a whole fat shaming and, you know, body shaming and stuff like that. And for me, I don't necessarily believe that that's what it was.
No.
You know, because if you look at a lot of, you know, her content that she's putting out these days, as far as, you know, photos and what have you, they're very graphic, you know, and it's fine, you know, if that's your taste, you know, that's your taste. But every single celebrity is going to be scrutinized.
Yes.
For their physical,
Every single one.
and the things that they wear.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So when I think about it, I don't think that, you know, people are, you know, judging her unfairly.
Because
But don't get me wrong. Go ahead.
let's go to this.
Yes.
Before she did that,
Mhm.
everybody loved her.
Yes.
Everybody loved her.
Yes.
So she was, if you say she's quote unquote fat, she was
Yeah.
fat before then.
Exactly.
So this act, also what I think made it worse was the video in the tunnel of her before she ever even got to courtside.
Mm.
I mean, I'm just looking at the video, I'm like,
So she was doing some of that same stuff in the
no, she
Oh.
just her. She was, I don't know if she was arguing with somebody, if she was
Oh.
mad, or
Oh.
she was just, I'm just
Ah.
looking. It was, to me, I was like, very unattractive.
Okay.
Very unattractive. She was just, it was too much.
Too much.
Too
Yeah.
much. You know, and it's like, you know, people bring up the whole apples and oranges, man. Well, so-and-so did this. Like, you know, they show pictures of Rihanna. This is a basketball game.
It's a basketball game, and people came to see basketball.
Came to see basketball. Come on, man. We talking about the red carpet, or
Yeah.
these are all celebrities hanging around one another,
Yeah.
and this is expected. You
Yeah.
know, the high-end fashion is expected.
Yes.
You know, they wearing thousands, tens of $1,000s worth of gowns and
Man, come
you know,
on now.
shoes and you name it. So you know, you see the art. You know,
Yeah.
they're producing art.
There
You know,
you
a
go.
lot of these entertainers, they're artists. Period. I don't care if you do music, movies, whatever. You're creating art. It's art. But yeah, I just wanted to see how you felt about it. I think you nailed it. As far as, you know, I don't think it was because of her size.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Is there a history of that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know, the Eurocentric beauty standards that we face, you know, that primarily a lot of women face in this country, you know, you need to be thin. You know, because when you look at curvy women, right? You know, curvaceous women, that was a lot of
Frowned
curvy.
upon.
Yeah, it was frowned upon for centuries.
Yeah, now everybody
You know,
want a butt.
Black people were put into zoos
Yes.
around the world
Yep.
because of their butts and
Yep.
their body, you know,
The circus.
Yes,
Yep.
you know, in the circus.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, yeah, and so yes, we're not saying that there's not a history of it. Yeah,
No.
there's absolutely a history of it.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to see just that particular
Yeah.
incident. I'm like, you know, it's like you want everybody to be proud of who they are,
Sure.
no doubt. But like you said, as a celebrity,
Yeah.
everyone gets it.
Oh,
I haven't
yeah,
seen one person
yeah.
not.
No,
I mean, Jay-Z, he get lit up on a daily.
Kanye is getting lit up
Lit up
by the minute.
by the minute. All right.
So yeah.
So it's like, you know, well, what's the, you know, the discrimination with him, or you know,
Yeah.
you know, this. Come on, like at the end of the day,
It doesn't apply to every situation.
Thank you. There's a time and a place,
There we go.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask your opinion on that because, you know, I was thinking about that and I hadn't discussed it with you. But,
Yeah.
man, hey, with that being said, you know, we got a chance to, man, I'm just surprised that it's actually you sitting here. You know,
Yeah.
it just blew my mind. But,
Thought I was Schmanderson, huh?
yeah, I thought you were Professor Schmanderson. And that, I'll never forget this, man. Like, that was a good trick you played on me.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like I said, I got a costume person that they're very.
All right, so that's enough. So, you know, with that being said, you know, thank you once again, everybody, for supporting.
Yes.
Mia Santana, Layla. I know you guys watch. Hey, thank you, family, for supporting. Friends, everybody. You know,
Yeah.
people who listen, and or whether it's on, remember it's on Apple, it's on Spotify, and, gosh, what other platform is it? Oh, Google Podcasts. So our, that's where you can just hear the audio version, and on YouTube, subscribe to us, Distinguished Twins.
Yeah.
On Facebook, Distinguished Twins as well.
Uh-huh.
Instagram, Distinguished.twins. So check us out.
Yeah.
Thank you once again. We have a very special guest coming up next week,
Yes.
and we also have another project we're working on.
Yeah.
Have another wrinkle, like my brother said. So
Yes.
once again, with all being said, thank you.
Thank you.
We love you,
Love you.
and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye bye.